Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface for the fourth time today. I guess there's no rest for the wicked. I got into bed. I tried to catch some Z's. I fell asleep for a little bit, woke up, put on Transformers the movie. Come on. And suddenly the ScarJo business dropped. So I've kind of spent the last couple of hours going through it all and trying to wake up. And let's get into it, shall we? Because this is some really interesting stuff. I actually could not believe the headline when I saw it. I had to double check that it wasn't like a Babylon Bee, mainly because of, well, we'll get into it all. So Scarlett Johansson, this coming from Variety, sues Disney for breach of contract over Black Widow release. So what is this all about? Disney's decision to release Black Widow on Disney Plus, the streaming service, at the same time it hit theaters, has sparked a legal battle with ScarJo. In a lawsuit filed Thursday, attorneys for Johansson allege that the star's contract was breached when the studio opted not to debut the film exclusively in theaters, a move they claim depressed ticket sales. That means made them weaker, you know. For the Avengers spin-off, much of Johansson's compensation, because she would have bonuses attached to performance when it comes to a film like this, was tied to the box office performance, not the streaming performance of Black Widow. If it hit certain benchmarks, bonuses would kick in. Okay, so let's just kind of break this down very quickly. Black Widow is a movie that's been ready for a long time. And even before the movie starts to go into production, you've got to get your contracts nailed in. What wasn't around when the contracts here were nailed in? Coof. Coof wasn't around. It wasn't an aspect. It wasn't a part of the contract. And so as far as Disney and everyone in the world was concerned, things were just going to tick on normally. They'd make a movie, it'd go out at the cinemas, at the theaters. But because of Coof, this film got delayed, and it got delayed, and it got delayed. And then Disney made the decision to also put it onto their streaming platform, which is not written into that current contract. Now, what didn't Disney do when it came to Mulan or other films that they've released on Disney Plus? They didn't brag about the numbers. They didn't brag about the numbers. Why? Because those films most likely perform really poorly. What did they brag about? They bragged about the numbers of people who purchased Black Widow on their streaming service to the tune, according to them, of $60 million. They had an $80 million launch at the theater and a $60 million on the streaming platform. So that's a combined $140 million, according to Disney, and according to the theater box office. So there's a huge chunk of money there that Disney have made that ScarJo hasn't got in her contract because this wasn't something that they thought was ever going to happen. Now, what I don't understand is when the decision was made by Disney to put it onto Disney Plus, ScarJo's lawyers and Disney's lawyers didn't come to some sort of arrangement because of this. That seems to me to be what would have been a logical move. Or maybe they did, and Disney were kind of like, well, you know, we've got us contracts already, so tough. Let's go in a little bit further. Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of the agreement without justification in order to prevent Ms. Johansson from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel the suit reads. Disney announced in March that Black Widow, among several of its 2021 films, would premiere simultaneously on the subscription service for a premium of $30. And on the big screen movie theater on the rebounded COVID, Black Widow set a post-pandemic box office record of 80 million on the opening weekend, 60 million on the streaming service, and 78 million internationally, just overseas stuff. Now then, if we look though, after a decent start, it's not a good movie at all. It's ground to a halt. It really has. People have sort of seen it and gone, oh, Jesus Christ. So this is just the worldwide box office 2021. I think it's important that we do worldwide because we need to see it in context to other films. And you can see that Black Widow is down in 5th place. 5th place with a 319 million box office worldwide, 159 domestically, 160 internationally, so that they're pretty much the same. Now, if we're to add on the additional 60 million that Disney are claiming here, that's going to come to 380. The budget for this movie was 200 million. You got to basically double that for marketing and advertising, 400 million. Then you've got all the cuts from the theater, etc. The chances are Black Widow has to make somewhere in the region of $500 to $550 million to break even. And it's ground to a halt. So it's definitely not going to break even at the theaters. They are releasing Blu-rays pretty quickly on this. They're getting them into production and out pretty quickly because they know that the lifespan here is pretty damn weak. And will Blu-ray sales tip it over the edge? It will probably do about 100 million. I'm going to speculate to 120 million in Blu-ray sales. And I think I'm being very generous here. So I don't even think, at very, very, very best, this might just scrape even. So money is a huge factor here for Disney. In every million counts, we know how it operates. Now, that's sort of from a business perspective. Let's look at this from an optic perspective. You, Disney, have created your feminist movie that's meant to give ScarJo a hurrah as she leaves the MCU, and you push your new feminist heroine, Black Widow, into the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is Phase 4, just FYI, and you are seen as withholding money from that strong woman because you are, in essence, taking advantage of the coof of the pandemic to screw Scarlett Johansson out of money. That's, as they like to say at your part of the woods, not a good look. Not a good look at all. And I can see Disney and ScarJo coming to some sort of an agreement. I can see this being settled out of court. And Scarlett getting some compensation, probably a decent amount of compensation as well. But there again, anything is a decent amount of compensation. After all, this is retirement money from the MCU. She ain't coming back. Also, ScarJo is a very bankable woman. She's a very popular woman, beautiful woman, good actress. And they may want to work with her again. And if you're screwing over one of your actors that you've had for 10 years now doing the MCU, again, as you like to say, not a good look. So I can see this being dealt with very, very quickly indeed. I can see some sort of an agreement being made outside of court. And I think from Disney's perspective, the sooner the better. Because if shareholders start to get a little bit twitchy on this one, then, you know, it will affect the share price. It might not affect it much, but any, of course, when you're a shareholder, is a little bit concerning. So this is the type of optic, I guess is the right word, that Disney just don't need right now. They do not need this, particularly when they're trying to build the next phase of their cinematic universe, and it looks like they're screwing over their current crop of people. Just to kind of finish it off here, Johansson's legal team said the representatives for the actress were worried that Black Widow would debut on Disney Plus even before coronavirus brought life to a standstill as part of the suit. Now, this is where I think they might be slightly reaching here. They said they share emails from the star's management group that asked the studio to guarantee that Black Widow would premiere exclusively in cinemas. In response, Marvel chief counsel Dave Jacuzzi promised a traditional theatrical bow, while adding, "We understand that should the plan change, we would need to discuss this with you and come to an understanding, as the deal is based on a series of very large box office bonuses." I think that pretty much says it all. I think Disney have backed themselves into a corner there. If the emails show that, yeah, if something else was going to happen, we need to discuss this. It clearly wasn't. Disney have bagged all the money. ScarJo's got nothing out of it. I think she's got either a really strong case, which she'll see through to the end, but I got the feeling, as I said, that they will settle this out of court so both parties could, hopefully, for their benefits anyway, work together in the future. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. You better hope, Disney, that ScarJo isn't seen out with the paparazzi crying. That would be a great picture on the front page. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.